I did a walking around session today, notifying people of an open house I'm going to be hosting this weekend, and I just kind of wanted to bring you a little bit of information about it. It's very interesting when you go and you knock on doors, and there's a lot of things to notice. Maybe it's the law enforcement background I come from, but there's things that you see, and not judging anyone, but like for example, when I'm walking around, if I see a no solicitation sign, I do not ring the doorbell. I do not knock on the door. I will leave a flyer in the door handle or in some other clever way if there's a table there under a plant or whatever. But that's how I do it. But when there's no solicitation sign, I mean, there's absent of a no. If if the property is missing or doesn't have a no solicitation sign, then of course I'm knocking and ringing the doorbell. Typically, if it does have one of the smart doorbells, the video doorbells, I'll ring it. I won't go past that and knock on the door. So my protocol is I want them to see the camera recording. I want them to see me in my shirt. I want them to see me holding a flyer. I want them to see me wearing glasses that don't have mirrored lenses. That's such a turnoff. But maybe that's my generation. I was talking to somebody the other day, and when we were having a discussion, they just stood there with their mirror sunglasses on, and they were considerably younger than me. And I said, I just have a question. Are you comfortable standing there where I can't see your eyes? He said, well, what does that matter? I said, well, I think it matters a lot from human to human. He said, well, I've never even heard that. I said, well, in my generation, if you have somebody standing in front of you with dark glasses or mirrored glasses, well, they're interrogating you. They're a cop, and they probably have an agenda to try to get you to come to Jesus on some particular point, or maybe admit some kind of guilt so they can take you to jail. Or there's some kind of a Fed or some kind of an agent. They're that way. They're not, a human to human conversation, especially when you're trying to sell me something. And this is what this person was trying to do. But going to open house is interesting, or going to the people that you're telling about the open house. So what I do typically is this: whenever I go, I'm not on my own. I'm working for my seller. So I'm going up to the house, I'm knocking on the door, and it was hotter than Hades out there. Well, not Houston hot, but pretty hot. So walking around, I'm dripping with sweat by the time I got to door number 3. And whenever people answered, it was a very interesting thing to me where they were incredibly receptive, as they always seem, but it also comes with presentation. Instead of being forceful and, I want to introduce myself. That's number one. I'm Connor. I'm here on behalf of a couple of your neighbors. And then I pause. And then they probably think, oh my God, what have we done? Did we piss off the neighbors? And then I continue. I say, I'm hosting an open house at their place this weekend. They're on such and such a street. They would love it if you would just take a moment to come by and give them your feedback on the residents. Plus, if you know somebody, that would be a perfect scenario to maybe introduce them, because if you love the neighborhood, maybe you would like somebody that you know to move in. And it's all peaches and cream. It's all easy. I don't get people yelling at me. And that's it. It's not, do you want to buy or sell? Have you ever thought about buying or selling? Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell? It's none of that. It's just very simple human to human talk. I'm happy they answered the door. I'm happy they trusted me enough to answer the door and actually open the door. And then I'm also thankful if they took the flyer, because, in some worlds, people aren't going to take the flyer. But I've also had the door slammed on me. I've been cussed out, never come to my door again. I'm on a do not knock on the door list, all of that stuff. And I'm very apologetic. I'm sorry. Nothing personal, because I understand that they understand, even after they've been so mean and so angry at me interrupting their day, which I can get that as well. I'm not oblivious to it. But then they probably think later, God, I was pretty hard on that guy. I've had apology calls later on. People saying, I really treated you badly the other day. And then we have a conversation. It's lovely. And I understand that. But this is someplace in real estate, and I know I train a lot of agents with regard to artificial intelligence. That's a place that probably is going to be many years, if ever, that any kind of an automated AI system is going to be able to do that very same thing. And I don't know how often agents do door knocking to notify neighbors of open houses, but it's a prime time to do it. It's a very important factor where I take it very seriously in Santa Clarita open houses. That's what I do. I think it's a very important part of the process. Leave them with a flyer. There's a QR code on it. That QR code from now until the end of time. Well, As long as I'm on the plan, it's going to revert to a landing page for that specific property. So they'll be able to see exactly what's going on with it. Is it still for sale? Has there been a price reduction, some modification? Is the property in some form of escrow, or has it been sold? And then from that very point, they can then get access to every other home that happens to be for sale in the neighborhood, because I tie that particular page where that QR code leads these people. I tie it to their neighborhood, so they can always go there and they say, well, we live in this neighborhood in Castaic, or we're in this neighborhood in Canyon Country or Newhall or Saugus, wherever it happens to be. They're able to always go back to that QR code. And if time allows at the property, I'll mention that. I say, scan that QR code. You'll see an entire breakdown of everything on the market in your particular neighborhood, on your particular street within that system, and it updates every 10 minutes on SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. That's it. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Okay. I bid you good day. Thank you for opening the door. It's wonderful to have this conversation and have spent this time with you. Hopefully I'll see you this weekend. And it's just perfect. Anyway, the experience, new agents, I think a lot of them are scared. I take that back. New agents, probably no issue. It's the older agents that get the ego tile hanging over their head everywhere they go that I think they have difficulty doing this. But when you go, be real, be transparent. Don't stand off to the side of the door. So that violates every police code that, we never stood in front, but we weren't going there to try to invite somebody to something. We were going to the house because there was a problem or a welfare check or something else. Whenever you're door knocking for open houses, you don't want to look like you're hiding behind, the pillar in front because you want to take cover in case somebody starts shooting. That's not the open house. Well, that's not the houses that I'm going to be knocking on the door of, if that can even be predicted. But you just stand there, relaxed. I pull my hat off all the time out of respect. And boy, when I first pulled it off on house number 3, it was like holding back all the water. So the sweat just rolled down my face. But, that's important. Don't answer the phone. I pay very much attention. I listen to what they say. I make sure I introduce myself. And really, I'm here because of your neighbors. Your neighbors asked me to stop by. And I'm stopping by everybody just to let you know that there's going to be an open house this particular day between these times. Love it. They would love it if you stop by and just give us some honest feedback about what you think about their selling price, condition of their house. Maybe you know somebody that you would love to have living next to you that might have been talking lately about, my God, I want to sell my house. And the other thing this does, and it's kind of a side effect of it, not so much a Trojan horse, but it is a side effect where they think, because it happens so infrequently. The people that I ran into the day of the 150 homes I banged on the door of and rang the Ring doorbell if they had it. And I want to get on video, right? So I want that to happen. They were a little taken aback as to why I was there. Maybe it's the pitch, maybe it's the presentation, maybe it's just being brutally honest, maybe it's not asking for anything or trying to interrogate. Maybe that's why it is. But I think it's an important video to put out there. So if you are going to host an open house, you leave a lot of ability on the table by not going around and talking to the neighbors. What a great excuse. And God bless people. There's so many people with massive dogs behind doors that are just going crazy when I ring that doorbell. Massive. And it always pops in your head. Oh my God, I hope when they open the door, there's enough holding the dog, enough of a person holding that massive animal back so they don't eat me for lunch. Yeah, I thought about that a lot. All right, I'm Connor. We'll see you in the next one. SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com.